Sunshine. Kathy Goche with a look at the other games on the ice.
Well, a battle of two rookie skips on sheet A. Skylar Ackerman at 22 is the youngest skip that Saskatchewan has sent to the Scotties. She'll take on Jane DiCarlo from PEI. Team Canada, while reeling from that news today you spoke about, Vic, will need to channel that mental training that they have because they're playing a very tough Quebec Lordy St. George. She comes here with Jamie Sinclair, a former skip from the United States who has joined her team, making that a very tough matchup. And Northern Ontario's Krista McCarville is always seated low because she does not travel, but is such a good team. She'll take on Corinne Brown from BC, and they have had a very good year. Great matches.
So our feature is Team Alberta as we meet the teams, brought to you by Home Hardware. Here's Tao. The lead is Paige Papley. Desiree Haas is the only player with experience at the Scotties. Danielle Schmiemann and the skip Selena Sturmey, and they hail from the Saddle Community Sports Center in Edmonton. Manitoba from the Fort Rouge Curling Club in Winnipeg, skipped by Caitlin Laws and backed up by Kristen McCush, Jocelyn Peterman, and Selena Negevin. Alberta has won the draw to the button, and so they will have the hammer in the first end of play. And these numbers are important. And you'll see the distance from the pin. They'll take those numbers, add them up, and at the end of the week, they'll toss out the two highest and then use the other accumulated numbers to possibly decide who goes forward or who doesn't. So the draws to the button, very important. So it's Alberta with the last rock playing the Red Stones. Manitoba, the yellow, to get us underway. The Manitoba lead is Kristen McCush.
And Joanne, that's not what Caitlin Laws had dreamt up in the dressing room. I think you have to think Sturmey and team are nervous. And I'm sure they thought, let's go at them right away, but they were horrible in the draw of the button and don't have advantage last rock.
Oh, well, Laws didn't even hit the rings.
Yeah, talk about feeling like that momentum already is kind of out of the sails, right off the hop.
Yeah. Lean, we're a little light. Pull. Weight's good. Curl. Curl. Good shot. Hit her big now.
Moving that stone around, let's take a look now at the keys to the game, and we'll start with Manitoba.
Well, Caitlin, we talked about in the opening, two-time, Olympic champion, won the Scotties. She's done everything. One of the best players in our country, period. But she likes to hit more than she likes to draw. We just witnessed it on the draw of the button. But so play your style. If that's the way you won, get some rocks and play early, then hit the rest of the end to do what the skipper wants to do. But try, if you can, to flip this hammer and put some pressure on a nervous Sturmey.
Yep. Very nice. Right on the nose. So, 9. Same weight. Same weight.
I tell you though, Joe, it plays into what Selena wanted to do, and is come out and just move that stone around, play it quietly. Let's get acclimated, get the slider under us, as it were. So this kind of start, perfect for her.
Yeah, and no athlete knows exactly how they're going to react in a game like this, in an environment like this. This is something that this team has dreamed about forever, getting onto the stage so they can have a chance to just settle in a little bit here.
All right, let's take a look at the keys now for Alberta.
Yeah, for Alberta, just to enjoy the moment, take it all in a little bit, find the way to find your focus, but at the same time, you never know how many Scotties you're going to play in, so you got to enjoy it. And then also, you want to look at forcing that draw. You see your opponent didn't quite find it in practice, so if she has an opportunity after this end to really dial in, she's going to want to go for that.
Running a bit, but it's clean. T-line. 13-8.
I heard the word 13-8. That's a little lower number than you'd normally have. It was 13 in practice, but that will, as the crowd fills up here, as the building warms up, we get a bit of brushing down there. I bet you see close to 15 by the end of the game.
Like a 9. 9. Lean. 9. Lean.
Donnie Bartlett was saying they finished their practice. They started at 13 dead on. It was almost 15 when they finished.
Yeah, that's typically what you'll see in a practice day because all the teams get to come out on the ice. Everyone gets 15 minutes per sheet. The ice makers don't want to have the ice destroyed by the evening, so they'll kind of build it up a little bit more.
I thought I kicked out with like a 9. And then it ended up
Jocelyn Peterman throwing the second stones for the Manitoba champions.
Whoa. Curl. Nine, curl. That's good. Nice. 8-6. Okay, try for like hair less. You got it.
Well, the 5-rock rule in effective course. The no-tick zone on the center line. 2, 10 ends, 38 minutes thinking time.
Wider, wider,
1
wider.
60-second timeout. So that syncs us up now with the world and the Olympics, as do the other rule of no tiebreakers and using your last rock drawings.
Yeah, it just makes sense. It really does. You're sending on your best team after this thing ends on Sunday night. You want to be familiar with what you're going to face down the road, and I think that's a good move. I'm sure all the curlers would rather have 2 timeouts.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a really big adjustment, Russ. I mean, when you have 2, if you get to a sticky point in the game at any time, you can use that first one and touch base, but know you have that last one for later and ends 9 and 10. Now they really have to decide and pick when they're going to use that timeout.
Yeah, you might have a situation the 5th end and you decide not to call it. But you can't. You want to save it, right?
Okay.
What do we think for the wing? 4-5 is probably okay.
I like 4-2.
These open
Similar to the
takeout
Colorado button
ends where you have that rollout as a player can be really frustrating, because now they've given Alberta the opportunity to throw a draw to the wing. They probably didn't look at that much in practice because everyone's so focused on their draw for hammer. So it's frustrating as a player to roll out and give this opportunity to learn the sheet for the team with hammer.
Line's good. Yep, you gotta go.
It was a bit of a guess for the thrower here because no one really throws the middle, so there's usually lots of foot traffic though, so you try to carry the one and make a good guess.
It's got to be slower there, doesn't it, than the draw to the button path.
Here.
Uh-oh.
9. Okay. No, so you think so.
Oh, I thought maybe.
That's not in.
Well, yeah, I did too, Vec, and first end, first game. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this call, but I think you'll see this is her style.
Yeah, but put some pressure on her.
Yeah, absolutely, no question. Pretty dangerous rock though. It's so tight.
Okay, it should be a little better, but I'll still give you a little more.
Yeah.
This has to be exactly what the coach drew up for Alberta, Joanne.
I feel like I
You're going to get the nerves out here in a big hurry. No tough shots. Still have hammer in the second end if they can roll this through and get the blank.
Yeah, and even for Danielle, because through the exact same path twice, so she gets another look at her rocks, make sure she likes them. She'll have a really good feel for draw weight moving forward now.
Top 4.
No, they were really close.
Top 4, top 8.
For T.
Top 4.
T. 4-1.
For 4-1, they're referring to the hog-to-hog time of 14-1. Some teams just drop saying that first number, and that already shows that the speed picks up quite quickly here. So
Nice.
teams have to keep an eye on what paths have been used, which ones are still new, which ones will be a little bit slower.
Okay, so I slid better the second time.
Yeah, there you go to your
I was
point.
thinking similar as draw the button on my first one, and it was a little less than I wanted, but
That's the difference between a good team and a great team. It's just those little things, you now know that spot's almost game speed. Rushers will know it. They won't make a mistake.
Yeah, and even the information there saying I was thinking draw for hammer, it was a tight guard, so she's passing that up the lineup in case her skipper needs to throw a fresh line.
Very quiet. Lean. Just lean. Yep. 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 Little roll back. Yep. Yep. Good. Nice throw. Good, Caitlin. Nice throw.
Gradual than I was thinking here.
Now these stones were used at the Briar last year, but they have been reconditioned.
Good 10.
And that's tricky for the teams that have used them before, because you can basically throw the rock puck away.
9-5. Okay.
2. Whoa. Hair big. Clean. Clean. Yep. Clean. Hard. Right to your page, no roll.
Boy, that curled.
Okay, that was gonna throw 9-7. It actually just curled a bit.
Oh, sorry. Pretty casual with the line call too. Just
Yeah. I think they thought it was heavy and a hair wide, and they just watched it curl.
I like that throw. Is that down? 9-7, not.
I thought for sure that was like a 9-2 out of her hand.
Yeah.
A little fresh across the middle part,
Yeah.
I think, here.
Nice sign,
Like,
eh? They're
14
talking.
is never.
Communicating.
Yeah,
There's
I like
doesn't
it.
seem to be too much
Okay.
nerves.
Just like 3-4 feet more.
yeah,
than
that's
draw
the
button.
key when
Like
you're in
that.
those
You got her.
moments with the pressures. Stick with what you know. Keep leaning into the moment. Don't try to get quiet there.
Weight's close. Line's good.
As we say, she missed the rings with her draw to the button.
Doesn't move yet. We'll adjust. Line's good. T-line. 14. Little past T. Nice. Keep that press. Nice roll. I would have said I gave more of an 8 feet more.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'll kind of just come off the
Light.
hair.
So there's a wonderful example of what we're preaching here. It's 8 feet more than the draw to the button path. That's significant. Predictable, but significant.
I don't think it'll do much on the 4-foot line here, actually.
Nice. So, 14. Okay. Felt like I threw more like a 13.5. Okay. Definitely like.
Sorry, I just didn't want both of us to go
He's
down.
down a
At
nice
least
surface
8
for
feet more
practice,
than
and
draw the
it's much
button.
quicker now, so I imagine these will be a little straighter, but the 10-second hits were curling about a foot. So that's not taking much ice here.
I just didn't want both of us to.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Looking for the blank.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Try and go the other way.
Oh dear.
That's fine.
So an early mistake as she's forced to take the single. Sturming forced to a single.
Well, welcome back to the Scotties. I am not Vic. You heard his voice was just a little bit off, and so he's gone back to the hotel to get better, and I'm someone whose voice never runs out, so
Oh, no.
now with me, my friends. You know, Russ, it's just interesting because I wasn't watching the feature sheet as much, but as I looked across the building, it was a very open, conservative sort of approach, except for the Quebec-Canada game, which is not a surprise. I'm wondering if that's just because the teams are not necessarily nervous, but they're just not sure what the conditions will do right now.
Yeah, and a lot of rookies out here too, and I'm sure the coaches said, let's run it up and down for at least one end, maybe two ends. And in case of Team Alberta here with Sturmey, Joe, I think it's brilliant because you've been there. You're nervous. You can tell the country you're not nervous, but you're nervous. And they got through with Hammer. They've got an even end, and now they can relax and play their game. But I've seen a lot of over curls so far, Kath, with on all the sheets where the 10-second hits, hitting half a rock on the inside, rolling out. So the rocks are pretty sharp.
And a veteran play by Caitlin Laws. She drew to the opposite side with her last and forced Selena Sturmey to the other side, fresh ice, end up getting the over curl, and they get the force out of nowhere.
Nice, Jess.
4-8.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of the other sheets, I talked about sort of the open style of play. I talked about the rookie skips, and Skylar Ackerman was not forced. She had a wide open blank attempt, took a little bit of tight ice, wound up nosing. That's how she got her one. Carrie Anderson was in trouble the entire end, playing some run backs. She was facing two on her final and was forced in the single. And Krista McCarville and her Northern Ontario team were lying two, and that forced Corinne Brown to take the single, and she did.
Yeah, an over curl on sheet A and B for the blanks.
Well, it's not unusual, I don't think, that from the practice ice to the day that you actually play, it changes. And I think that the teams are going from what they saw earlier, and they're going to have to adjust.
I like what you said, Joanne. I love watching this sport at the highest level because it's those little things. And you're exactly right. Caitlin had a free one. She said, I'm going to put it over here. We haven't been on this side. Little extra pebble, over curl, and she gets the force.
You're probably just in goal now.
Well, Desiree Hawes on this team brings the most experience, played for many years for Corinne Brown. And we saw her at the Scotties. In moving to Alberta this year, she had the opportunity to reach out to the Sturmey team and say, I'm not an import anymore. I'm living here, because her and Tyler have bought a house. And it's, in my opinion, a really good addition to this team.
Yeah, this team is made up of the other three athletes. They all had success in the U Sport competition. All three of them coming through the University of Alberta curling program. So, I mean, it produces phenomenal curlers, but it's all a lot of the same concepts. So everyone's on the same page instantly. But what Desiree brings is that fresh perspective. So you have a really nice balance on this team of that consistency, but then that room for the extra.
I was really impressed in the Alberta final. Like, they were in big trouble, and that steal a 2 to win. Wow.
An unexpected miss here.
Sorry,
Jocelyn
just a big
Peterman.
ad.
Yeah, had the opportunity to use their corner guard, but first end might have just tricked them a little bit. Those draws to the wings, the first down the path, were just really slow. And now second end, there's been enough foot traffic. Everything's warmed up enough that she won't be happy with that miss.
We look always at how the teams get here, and obviously Sturmey is a team that won their provincial championship earlier in the year. They do a round robin, went 6-1, finished first, and that earned her a bye to the final, and it was a feisty final. Some great curling. Kayla Skurlik elected to play a draw on her final. Stone was facing two, went deep, and that allowed that steal of 2 and the victory. That's how they got here.
Down the center where there's a bit of fresh pebble. They're really curling.
Nice throw, Sina. Good throw.
Well, and for Caitlin Laws, a province like Manitoba was very different this year in the absence of Jennifer Jones and Carrie Anderson, who were already here. She was the top-seeded team, went undefeated in her group. There are 2 pools, and and in the championship round went first. That earned her the bye to the final, and it was a very, very well played final, defeating Beth Peterson 9-8 to earn her right here.
What'd you do, Joanne? And when it's a little bit of fresh pebble here, it's pretty sharp. Did you raise your speeds, or did you take more ice?
When it's
on a hit.
fresh like this on a hit, I typically preferred to raise the speed, just because when you give away the rock, when you take a ton of ice with those lighter weights, you never know when you're going to get burned. And sometimes when it's sharp like this, once the rock starts to curl, it's hard to stop it. And if you got a little bit more speed to it, it's a lot easier to manage.
Gotta go. Weight's good. Yep. Okay, just lead. Just lead. You're rolling away. Good sweep.
One of the things that Selena Sturmey told Vic and I before the game is that one of their goals in the first half of this game was to just get real good comfort with the ice. And they do tend to play conservative, but do you feel, Russ, that at some point they should push the envelope?
Yeah, oh, for sure, because it's the only way you win out here, especially a team as talented as Caitlin Laws from Manitoba. Yes, you have to, and when do you do it, right? It's easy for the coach to say, oh, when you're comfortable. When is that?
That may not be till tomorrow.
Could be game 4, right? Yeah, exactly. So, but, at some point, they've got control. They don't have to, but I think you're going to see them throw up a corner guard and get at it in the third or fourth end.
Their benefit to playing a little bit open to start is they're going to bank some time on their time clock. Only with that one timeout, that new rule, it'll give them some time towards that second half of the game when they need to settle down the heart rate a little bit.
9-5. Good weight.
Joe, when you were playing with Rachel, did you ever, as a front end player, give her the message, we're good to go now? Or was that a decision that was made with Rachel?
I still feel her tight.
It was a team decision kind of thing. We touched base in between ends and just get a feel for how everyone was feeling. But towards the later part of the team's their story, we really tried to not get into games and say, oh, let's get comfy first. The great teams are the ones like Jennifer Jones who can first end, put up a centerline guard, put up that corner guard, and go. And in order to learn how to do that, you're going to get burned a few times. So I'd say early on, feeling it out, but as you get better and start to strive to be at the top, you got to start going for it.
No question. Especially now that with the rule, the 5 rock rule, it's hard to run and hide.
What was that? 9-9. Good. Good sweep. Nice.
I think
Good
it'll be
sweep.
interesting, Kathy. You know Caitlin better than I do, but she doesn't mind keeping it simple. You might not see her throw center guard for a few ends.
You have a battle of two teams here that are both very strong and capable, but both of whose happiness is in a relative simple game.
I was the opposite. I needed a front end loader and just get the rocks off the ice each end.
Selena Sturmey on her final stone. Probably like to roll just a little bit, try to change it and make it a little bit more difficult for Caitlin than throwing in the same path.
Good. 9.
So final stone here in 2. Caitlin looking for the blank.
No, I like that. That was a good throw.
Okay.
I touched on it that if I was playing against Caitlin, I'd rather her have to draw the button. She's drawing the 8-foot all day, but the button than this type of shot. Her mechanics are just spot on. It's one of the best deliveries I've ever seen. Not taking a ton of ice either, though.
And so with that throw, that is the blank. Caitlin will carry the hammer as she goes into 3, and we'll see if there's a little bit more activity. Welcome back to the Scotties Tournament of Hearts here in Calgary. We were here in the bubble not that long ago. It is such a different feel, and so many of the teams, the players that were here last time are so grateful to have an opportunity to come back to this great city and have some fans to show their appreciation. It has been a simple game so far, but that is not unusual in this first outing.
We're good. Yep. Hard curl. Try and get center. You're good. You're good. Nice.
Well, one of the teams that certainly knows what it's like to play in this building, full or empty, is Carrie Anderson, who won the last time that it was here. And it was all St. George in the first end, but the pressure has been on very much by Carrie Anderson and her team. Carrie making a lovely come around, and that forces Laurie and her team from the Glenmore and Laval-sur-la-Lac Curling Club to make a tough shot.
She made her first one, but Carrie was capable of getting it out of there.
Needs to get to the 4-foot and will not. That is a steal of 2. And right now, the back end that we talked so much about, Jamie Sinclair, Laurie St. George, a combined total of 53%.
This is the widest anybody's been.
Yeah, this is wider than I had by.
I think it's going to be a little heavier out here.
Yeah, it'll probably.
North Sheet, the battle at lead has begun. Paige Papley with a really nice setup, getting her first rock right in that control zone, top 8 in front of the tee line, and nice tight guard, utilizing that 5-rock rule.
Light right now.
Meanwhile, for Kristen McCouche on Team Manitoba, she was looking for her first guard to be a bit closer to the rings and then tried the come round, unable to get there. So advantage to Team Alberta right now.
Top 4.
Well, like that draw that Quebec just missed. Once they're curling into the center. They're just not gliding yet.
I think the 8 is gross.
3-5. Yeah.
Well, for so many years, we saw Suzanne Burt come out of PEI. This is the rookie skip, Jane DiCarlo, but it is actually Veronica Main that throws the 4th stone. And an opportunity presenting itself early in this game. This is the second end. An opportunity for 2.
Yeah, well, clean. Yep. Can't hurt it. Yep. Yes, nose, yep. Hard.
And nicely done. That's the 2-point and a 1-point edge for the team from PEI.
Great.
Oh, very nice. Got 2 of them, kicked the other Alberta stone out enough that they can get at it. Maybe a short run back, maybe.
The 5-rock rule now, it's just so important to make noise on these run backs to the 2nd and 3rd position, and the shooter rolling off the center line. Really helpful for Team Manitoba. Jocelyn will be very happy with that.
Those run backs are all or nothing. I'm staring at Kathy here.
Yeah.
Jacques, I don't mean to throw your son under the bus, but
There is a bus.
there's a bus. But now he threw 3 or 4, I think they were triple run backs.
In the Alberta
And he was
playdowns.
like an 1/18 of an inch one direction or another and making this great shot to get out of jail, and it just stuff. And all of a sudden you're in big trouble.
Top 4. Yep.
When you empathize for the seconds, because you haven't seen that line yet in the game, and they need to be absolutely perfect. Like by the time the 3rd and the skip get to throw, you've seen it a few times.
Now we've shown you the Saskatchewan PEI update and the Canadian one. The other sheet that we didn't is the Northern Ontario battle with BC, and it was a lot of pressure by Krista McCarville, but a good shot by BC forced Krista, and that is the 1-1 tie.
Very nice.
Good sweep.
You see so many of these run backs made nowadays, but at the end of the day, it's a circle hitting a circle. It's it's go home, try it at your own rink. It's not easy.
Really important to stick the rock that was run into the house. Now Alberta's going to chase it. They could ignore it, it's second shot, and really go for it, but they're not looking to play that kind of game plan just yet.
Yeah, it'd be tempting, wouldn't it? But this, just this simple nose splits the reds, which is nice.
There's no need to push it right now. So going with a more conservative call, nothing wrong with that.
Coming off air. Yep. 10.
And it's either a product of U of A or genetics, because her brother Karsten Sturmey just lost the semifinals in Alberta and very much approaches the game in the same way. So I don't know, Joe, you're from Alberta. Do you have the view, is it a U of A teaching, or is it just the Sturmeys like to keep it simple?
Well, it's been a number of years, but I actually also played in the U of A program for a few years, and it's a great way to build curlers. You get a lot of help technically, but there's also a lot of tactics focus. There's playbooks, and if the score is this, you should do this. If it's, you should push at this point in the game, or you can play a bit more conservative here, and it's very much gives a great structure to young up-and-coming athletes. When they're in these big moments, you can really lean on that playbook.
It needs to sit for line. Needs to sit for line.
Needs to sit
Gotta
for weight.
slow down.
Full back 12.
Whoa.
Hi, Lena.
This rock, it moved.
Lena.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. Are you good?
It's hard to tell on TV, but when you're on the ice, these rocks, they hide in the logos, and you just
Yeah, it's true.
easy to have it happen. But the nice thing is that they leave a little bit of a ring on the ice, so she's able to just jiggle it back into place. No harm, no foul.
That was 14-4, so that's probably close. Yeah,
Yeah.
hers drowned in a bit.
You got it.
Team Manitoba's got to be a little careful here. There's really no path to draw to the button. Guards, tight guards on both sides would block in-turn or out-turn draw to the center line.
Whoa. We're close. Gotta wait. Top 8.
I saw a lot of Danielle Schmiemann when we were in the bubble playing mixed
Stop it.
doubles with John Morris.
Hold first feet if you
And
have
so
to as
this
well.
will be a nice return for her.
Hard there. Hard does. Yep. All there. Yep. Hard. Right back.
Keep going.
Right back. Hard. Sorry. Good touch.
And they lie 3, they being Alberta. And the crowd's very appreciative of that.
4-5. Okay. Drowned better than yours.
14-6.
You like this? Not really,
Okay.
but I guess she's too light.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
Alberta Stone just a touch deeper than they wanted it in the house, so I like this call. You can freeze right on top and get shot. It's just a very precise shot right now, and Manitoba's been having a hard time with that rock placement.
And you heard Selena, who has to execute this, say, I don't really like this. That scares you a little bit.
Line tight. Hard line.
Got to go to get a bye.
Gotta go.
High.
Just top 12.
Bounce it. Unlock it.
Boy, oh boy. Yeah, you know, Caitlin might not have heard the comment,
Why were we counting that?
but if Selena didn't like it,
That's the communication thing. Caitlin did say before that she felt one of the things they were working on this year
Yeah, even leave it
was in
halfway.
fact communication, and she thought they were doing well, but that's also
I just
where,
don't know if
Joe,
it's
do you
gonna
think if a
stop there.
front end hears the third saying, I don't like it, that you can
Just
throw
at
the
the
tee
end?
and say, let's talk?
Yeah, I think that's an opportunity for someone to jump in. It's a new team. There's 2 pairs that came together, so you know, it's not a bad call. And if Selena's comfortable with draw weight, it's probably the call to make. But it's one of those moments where you're still feeling each other out, and it's big trouble now that they didn't take the time to talk it through. Those guards being overlapped is just huge trouble because neither one are available to run into shot stone.
Just like full 12.
Yeah.
I like that.
Just basically plug that hole so she doesn't have a drop path.
Sounds good.
If you're heavy, you can take it like to it.
Sounds good.
And this is what you
path
want.
is quite a bit better than your draw to the pin.
First Scotties, first game, your first draw.
Okay.
You've got some window to work with.
pretty close to the draw of the button path, too. Maybe a little inside it.
Top there.
Top 8. Wait if you can.
Close.
Top 8. Top 12.
Coming down a bit.
Curl. Top 8.
Little curl.
Top 12. Straight. Whoa. Straight.
Just top 12.
Hey, whoa. If you're top 12.
Oh, real nice.
And top 8, I mean.
Let's go.
Real careful here, Joanne. It's you can try a run back, but if you miss it, you could be out of the game. This might make more sense. Look at that finish.
Yeah, really well managed rock. No one panicked early. Everyone knew the tolerance there. Like, just could not be heavy. So sweepers are very patient with it. Anything light played.
Blocks off both those short raises too, because if the yellow comes into the top red, they're still sitting 3.
You got it, Caitlin.
Well, you need to roll here if you're Caitlin Laws.
Caitlin Laws facing 4, looking for the inside roll.
Yep. 4. 5. 10, 5, 11.
Right in between. They probably could have got off that earlier and maybe saved it. Yikes.
She could probably get there this way here.
Caitlin, good throw.
Speed, Caitlin.
Just that lighter weight. You have to play the lighter weight for the roll. You want to be able to use your sweepers a bit, but just once they start curling early in the game, it's really hard to hold it.
I was thinking halfway.
Especially now, those sharpened rocks in the next couple of days, I think, are
You think
going to
that's
make a
too
big
much?
difference.
For here?
Yeah.
Her
Just
left
a
side?
tad slower hog to hog too. So
I think they can-
you know the
make
rock's
it.
just dying a wee bit sooner than you thought, and you're going to get that extra curl too. I don't know. You could plug the hole. You could go in turn right around everything.
Yeah, I think they've decided to guard. There's a raise on the yellow rock on the left-hand side of the screen.
8 feet less in this path. Just
The
I don't
tight
think
yellow
this
one?
path will be as good, hey?
Yeah, or maybe even just guarding the draw line there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just kind of like in line with middle 8, halfway.
Well, so much news today about Carrie Anderson's team and Brianne Harris being deemed ineligible, and wondering how the team would be able to overcome so many of the distractions. Kristen Karwacki, their longtime 5th, coming in. Count them up. I don't do the Vic count. I'm just going 4 is what she is facing. Laurie St. George tried to draw on her first one. It is a stone biting the top of the 12. This is the in turn, the same path she threw, needs to get to the hearts.
Gotta go wait. T-line.
Starting to curl.
Team Canada may in fact be line 5 as we look at that. And does it roll off enough for second shot? I love how our entire booth leans forward.
Where the magic?
They could see.
That's close.
It's a pretty good draw, there's no doubt. And Reed Carruthers will be earning his pay this week.
Yeah, I think so. And then also, I think
It looks as though they may measure.
So they're holding
Yeah, it seems
Kristen's
to
out
be.
a lot longer.
This tough little shot here for Caitlin.
Caitlin, you got her.
Not a big port there, Joe.
No, and it seems like in this spot, once they start to go, they're moving. So even just to hold Alberta to 1 would be a good result.
And in that Team Canada Quebec game, they have called for a measure. Once it's done, we will let you know the result.
Easy room. Whoa. Wait's close. Back 4. Curl. Whoa, curl.
Well, facing more pressure for sure than she probably anticipated or wanted. Caitlin looking for the 4-foot.
Just took off.
Has to get it by the 1 in the 8-foot. And will not. A steal of 2 for Team Alberta. It's a pretty good lead for a rookie team at their first Scotties. Well, you know, when you're for Scotties, there's a lot of pressure. When you're in your home province and you're on TV as the feature game, there's a lot. But Joe, you think that it was early in the third end that Selena made a statement.
Yeah, and the end was setting up so nicely for Team Alberta, but I really feel like this just put the nail in the coffin and just put Team Manitoba in a pile of trouble. Had some room to work with here, but just put it in the absolute perfect spot. And a great precision draw to start this game. Really nice, patient sweeping here. No panic early, there was room, and they waited, and the rock just came in perfectly.
And that is your key shot, brought to you by BKT Tires, growing together.
To your point, Joanne, they managed that beautifully because Caitlin throws hers, and they immediately started to carve it to make a curl, and it overcurled.
Yeah, I mean, and we're still learning the ice here, Russ, but it's just looking like they run for quite a while. But if the weight's good, they come up. If they're heavy, they're gonna lose that break point and run very straight. But looks like you need some patience early, and you have to be in the ballpark for weight.
Okay, line here tight. Close. Close there. Top 4, top 8. Okay, line's okay. Top 8. Keep a broom down on it. A little bit. Top 8. Top 8. Can be biting top 4 on this line even. Yep. Biting top 4.
So 10-end game, you're feeling pretty good if you're Team Alberta here, but if Manitoba can manufacture a 2, they're right back in it.
Well, we showed you Laurie St. George rubbing off that stone, and not sure whether it was 1 or 2, but after the measure, it was in fact a steal of 2. So that is a 5-0 lead for Carrie Anderson and Team Canada right now.
That's light.
Unbelievable start, considering.
And you know what? I feel that as a team, as you look at the stats, they're 88%. But to me, also the key is Kristen Karwacki, who's not played a lot of Scotties, is at 88% as well. So huge weight on her shoulders to produce the kind of result that we're used to seeing Brianne Harris. And they've done a really good job.
Yeah. I don't just hate the single rip for now.
Nice call here. It's a scoreboard call. They're up 3. They could pile another one in there. But those yellows can come back to haunt them here later. That's what Laws is going to try to use for protection.
Yep. Clean. Yep. Yep. Hard. That's good. Top 4.
Saskatchewan, that's Skylar Ackerman with a 3-2 lead after hitting for 2 last end, takes the edge in that game. We showed you that, well, we didn't show you the measure, but we told you the result of the measure, a 5-0 lead over Quebec. And Northern Ontario's Krista McCarville now with a 3-1 lead in the 4th end over Corinne Brown.
It's close. Line's great. Curling now. T-line. Okay. Line's perfect. Top 4 only. Top 4. Line's perfect. Oh, shit.
Little finish if you can.
Burnt it.
Just coming over the hog line, I burnt it.
Was it like really bad?
Like touched it. Like. Thanks, Lena.
Very nice.
And that's a great example of sportsmanship, because you have options inside the hog line. She could have said, well, take it off. It was a moving stone. She could say, I'm going to put it where I think it was, or she could leave it. And it's nice to see that.
Tricky little shot here. The lighter finesse weight in the inner line that was curling before, but it'd be worn in now.
Curl. 11.
Can't see all this Manitoba stone.
Curl, curl, curl. 11, curl, curl. Weight's coming off a bit. It's a really nice shot. Nice.
Boy, it's an impressive start here for this young team. I expected the exact opposite. No offense to them, but you know, you talk about it's the trifecta. First time here, on TV, home crowd, home barn. That was a tough shot. Made it look easy.
Well, this is a team that we've covered at the Canadian Juniors or the U21s before, so it's not the same at all at the Scotties, but it's also exposure to something that really matters and having that crest on your back. And the real challenge, as you look at it right now, is the draw weight for Team Manitoba. They're 52% on 13 draws. Pretty tough to win or to score points when you're trying to find the paint.
Yeah, that's hard. It's the first game of the event, and you're trying to sort out the ice, trying to sort out the rock. So if somebody has a tricky rock, you don't know if it was the thrower, if it was the spot, and just trying to solve it all. But there's not a lot of leeway to do that when you're playing against a team that really isn't faltering. A nice double made by Selena Negevin. Open up the forefoot a little bit here. They might be able to use their guard. It was just off center.
Girl.
Caitlin has to change gears here now. It's, the blank opportunity's out the window. It's late enough in the end. Try to generate a 2 around that guard.
Felt like 14-8 on mine, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they saw this path on Jocelyn's draw. Should be in the ballpark here. They'd like to create some space between the guard and the thrown stone so that the run back is harder.
Line's good. Close for line. Light. Not there. Weight's close. Line's great.
Top 4, I think. Top 4.
Top 4. Okay. Line's perfect. Yep. Top 8. Yep. Line. Hard. Hard. Hard line. You gotta go hard, hard, hard.
Good sweep.
Just didn't pick up on it soon enough.
Yeah, a little bit lighter than what the sweepers were calling. They were saying T-line. That was probably about top 8, and they like the line with the late break that we're seeing. It just took off at the end there. That can be so deflating for the team. It's just, you make one, you put some pressure on your opponent, you get a skips 2 here, and it's a totally different game.
Right.
Kind of wavy there. An 11. Okay, I like that. I think he'll track a little bit.
Well, in the battle of 2 rookie skips, it's who's more comfortable quicker. And Skylar Ackerman is a really, really strong hitter. She did that in the provincials. She had a chance to draw for the win. She played the hit. But it has been the draw game in this last end that has given her opponent a lot of trouble, bearing 2 around a center guard or just off the line. And so it is the forefoot that is needed in order to score. And this is the 4th rock thrower, Veronica Main. She does not call the game, but she throws last stone.
Perfect. Yep, it's going.
Yeah, just a 10.
It's going, yep.
That's starting to curl hard too.
Line's perfect. Take hard line. Hard line. Take it. Take it. Take it. You have to take it. Yes, go hard. Hard, Whitney. Hard. Hard.
Oh, another one that just was lost at the end. They thought lots of room. It looks like a steal of 1 for Saskatchewan to take a 4-2 lead.
That's too bad. They had that all the way down. They just had to keep staying on that. They're more worried about the line than the speed.
That way if she makes the roll, we have. Sounds good. At 15-2 on Selena's, looks like it's running pretty nice here.
Yeah.
Just like that, a miss out of Alberta, and Caitlin's got a great opportunity here to come around and put some pressure on.
How quickly that changed.
So one thing when you're trying to defend in an end with the 5-rock rule and there's a couple guards in play, all it takes is 1 miss.
Yeah.
Be a little careful here with the big curl. This, she throw this to the T line, it'll set up a yellow double.
I'm good.
Our room.
Little lane.
Just
Need
top
8 foot. 12.
Gotta be there.
Top 8.
You need 8 foot.
Yep.
Everything you got.
All you got.
Push.
Push. Push.
Faster, 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 faster.
Go, 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 go. You got it. Hard. Go.
Whoa.
Good brush.
Nicely done.
Good.
You can hear the intensity from the sweepers there.
Well.
Good Kristen on the inside. So Jocelyn's on the outside. You've got 2 sweepers down, but Jocelyn is also doing some cheerleading here. And I'm going to tell you, as a front-end player, that makes a huge difference. This rock had to be second shot, had to get this rock to the 8 foot and build some momentum for your team.
Really good sweep.
See, that's cheerleading, Russ. When you skip, you were just yelling, is that all you got? Go harder.
Exactly. Like what are you doing?
That's
out
not
there?
cheerleading. That's not cheerleading. That's harassment.
Harassment.
But it's true. When you have somebody saying you've got it, you just find an extra gear because you're thinking, okay, then maybe I do. Great example of that.
Okay, sounds good.
Buried enough, that rock of Caitlin's, that if this is right behind it on the side of the button, it'll be a difficult shot for Manitoba. You'd have to roll perfect, though.
Clean. Yep. Hard. Hard. Really hard.
When we talk about how underrated Krista McCarville is, because she does not play a lot, does not have a lot of points. And she's also added Andrea Kelly out of New Brunswick, a great thrower, made a wonderful touch shot in this end, and now lies 4. And that is what Corinne faces. She does need a bite of the hearts in order to score.
Hear that hard line early, about halfway down the sheet. That's big trouble.
Jen Armstrong, Sam Fisher working hard, trying to get it there.
Okay. Two
And
red.
it will not. A steal of 2, and that's a 5-1 lead for the team from Northern Ontario.
But there's definitely a common theme here. Is there over curl, slightly light over curl. Hits, draws, come arounds. It's just a shade slower than usual, but there's a lot of bite to these rocks.
There it goes. There it goes.
Looking for full 8 for the 2. And just like that, one missed shot by Alberta flips the end around. 2 points and a 1-point deficit now for Caitlin Laws. welcome back to the Winsport Event Center. We are in Calgary for the 2024 edition of the Scotties Tournament of Hearts. Our feature match, Manitoba, represented by Caitlin Laws, and Alberta's Selena Sturmey, who got off to a very quick start, but the deuce back by Caitlin has kept it close. Well, those red rocks that you see, that has been pressure and very typical of what Laurie St. George has faced when she has sat in the hack end after end, except for the first. It is 3 that belong to Carrie Anderson, trying to make the double and stick right there for the single.
Yeah, if you high side it, you make the
Might
double,
even
but,
get the triple.
but you're going to roll too far.
That will roll too far. Steal of another one for Carrie Anderson, and I just have to shout out my respect as a player. When things go off on your team and you lose a teammate or something like that happens, just the mental fortitude to stay in the moment, stay on the ice, stay with your team and make the best of it. Well done.
No kidding.
What are you doing?
Bye. I was like, what do you mean? Okay, good end.
They're calling down Kristen. They're like, no, you have a team meeting. Kristen's still learning the ropes. Am I not supposed to go throw now?
She's thinking about fifth end snacks and all the other support roles she always does for this team.
Yeah, true.
She's probably going to get the
Yeah,
snacks.
she's setting the snacks up, that's right. Reed's doing double duty.
Well, there's a number total at 66%. It is the draws, and I feel that if we look at the stats across the board, we're going to see that as a very common message on all the sheets tonight.
Hard over.
Getting used to the stones, getting used to the ice. How fast, how much leeway do you give them, Russ, before they have to figure it out?
You just being critical of them, you mean? Yeah.
No, like in terms of draw weight. We're saying the
Oh.
numbers are low everywhere. How long do people have in your mind to figure it out?
Well, the best in the world figured out before the first end. You know, you got that 10-minute practice. You practiced earlier today. There's kind of no excuse other than these rocks are freshly sharpened. They don't have the buck on them. I think it's way different than practice this morning. So, you know, you certainly at the halfway point, you have to have it figured out.
Joe?
Yeah, I think I'd give the team some grace here for everyone. It's learning the trends. Every game you're going to see teams improve. You're going to see what it seemed like early and how it gets to be late. And with consistent ice conditions, you'll see the play get better and better as the week goes on.
So, it's fine.
Sorry, I don't even mind a guard. A throw one guard. It's tight.
Quite the momentum swing in our game all of a sudden here.
Here, hey? Yep.
Manitoba, for the first time all game, is able to put some pressure on Team Alberta. Talked about coming around this guard, and they're opting instead. Even though these rocks are behind the tee line, choosing the guard, I kind of like this, Russ.
I do too. I definitely do. It's way too early to race to the forefoot here. That's such a short run back for Manitoba or for Alberta. And if this doesn't curl, it's an avenue to get all 3 of those yellows.
Keep going, keep going. Never stop. All you got, just all you got. Never stop. Get to center. Gotta get to center. Top 4, top 8. Get to center. Go, 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 go.
Now there's actually a triple opportunity, or even dead on make a double and leave yours in the rings. It's when to go, isn't it?
Speed off with the car.
Yeah, that rock curls an extra half rock, and it plays.
Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Curl, curl, curl.
Close.
Whoa. It's good.
Nice throw.
Yeah, create some space in the 4-foot now. Get those rocks out into the 8-foot.
You know, we've covered so much curling. The fact she hung around makes a big difference in this situation, because Caitlin can't roll to our right without jamming it. So if she's going to hit it, she has to roll away, and that opens everything up for Alberta with hammer. So it's forcing Caitlin to ignore that rock, which could end up on the scoreboard.
On the 4.5 side. You got her.
This is the widest we've seen on the sheet here, Russ. They're all the way out into the middle of the 12-foot, so you have to wonder, will it be a little bit slower out here?
Good thing.
Now the draws really leap out again, 25%.
Yep.
Selena Negevin is a very, very strong player, and the draw game is also something that she would count on. And so when your third's at 25% with draws, it does tell you that your skip's going to be in a bit of trouble.
Nice recovery there.
And there goes her 25%.
Still a pretty good situation for Alberta, Joanne, because you've got that red one. It's in pay dirt right now. If you ever stick this run back,
You got it.
These are always a bit of a question mark. Out turn just off the line. Is it going to back off at all? You're going to catch something fresh. It's 5th end, so you expect this to run pretty straight.
Yep. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. No. Curl. Curl, curl, curl.
might hit the back ones. Oh,
Fancy.
there you go. Just no pictures on the scorecard.
Surprised them a little online. The call was hard out of the hand, and then
Yeah.
it just straightened right out.
Yeah, to your point, maybe it just runs there. Oh, that's stopped in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
Football red, apparently.
There's technically a double here, but you could stuff it and leave the reds in play just as easily.
Little fake. Lead. Lead it. Hard. Hard. Hard.
Good. Really good.
So close.
Really good.
Nice to get that freeze unlocked, though. It's not the end of the world here. Alberta will have to be careful not to leave a double. These
Nice unlock it, actually.
draws the
Nice
wing
unlock it,
there.
actually.
There's
It's like dead frozen.
room for error, but still they need to be quite precise. You know that Caitlin will take a run at a double.
Wow, lucky on that one.
And with a
Oh,
pretty
boy,
good
yeah.
success rate, she's a wonderful hitter.
No,
I just thought it was making the top
I thought she was making
double off her own.
Little tight. Close. Little light. Back forward.
Gotta go. Gotta go tight.
Top 12. Tight guard.
We wanted these rocks even to leave no double, but it's really coming down.
Top 8 would make it a thin double. You want to get it close to that yellow, though. Pretty good spot.
Good sweep. 4-9. Okay.
It's just a good example of everyone being on the same page there. Sweepers knew it was light, so they didn't just sweep it and make the double a little easier. They knew exactly
Yeah.
where they needed to be.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, I think hair more ad. If I add, then it's fine. Good sweeping.
A veteran call here from Caitlin, too, Joanne. It's the double, I guess, is there, but your odds of making it are so slim, and then you're in big trouble because they probably will split the ring. So just going to be patient here. Try to hit and roll towards that red one. Stay in front of it.
Yeah.
Weight's good.
Easy.
Well, Caitlin's number's higher than the rest of the team, and you spoke about it earlier, Russ, about how well she played at the Scotties in Manitoba.
Yeah, you were there all week, right? Every time I was watching, she made everything. Look at this. Right on top.
Wow.
Oh, really nice call. There's so many teams that would try the thin double with no success.
Well, and on top of that, this is the first inside-out hit we've seen, so a little bit of a guess on where to put the broom. Just well thrown, great line call here.
Yeah, she threw a draw there in the first hand, but it wouldn't really be the same as a hit. Beautiful shot. Boy.
That should be okay. Sweep for good to even back 4. Okay. Probably need a low 4, 4 or 5. Yeah, that's what we were thinking.
Now, someone who has not had difficulty with draws tonight, albeit only 2. She has been perfect.
T-line, top 4. Line's great.
Remember that perfect shot we called as the shot of the game right here was top 8, this exact same line, so they should know what this does.
Wait there, wait there. No bounds. No bounds.
Wow.
14.
See me out turn?
I think so. I
Yeah.
don't think we can throw.
I agree. Yeah.
We just got to get a little lower to get this one to go.
Kind of wavy throwing.
Teal?
Okay, I like it.
Those freezes are so hard,
look.
Russ. Perfect weight, perfect.
It just looks
Perfectly
like you're
managed
back
by the
here on our
sweepers,
roll,
but
so I like it.
unfortunately, it's left an opportunity here for Caitlin.
They'd love to throw in turn here, Kat, to get the spin, but that rock up here is just too dangerous, so they're going to have to play out turn. But anything high side, you hit it right where the broom is, you're not getting it out of there, so they obviously need a little bit of curl. But again, this is right up Caitlin's alley, but they have to be within probably an inch and a half of that top yellow one to make this work. Otherwise, it jams.
You got her, Caitlin.
Not a very good view from the hack. It's close to edge.
Yeah.
And needs to get to the edge.
You've got to commit here. Very, very nice.
Stayed right there. Nice job. Really good.
She said before the game that they were building this year. Last year was about babies. You talked about the daycare this year. Next year, they know they're going to play a much more aggressive schedule. So this is not a team that's peaking right now, but they're still building. And this kind of shot making is going to give them a really good feel.
Stayed right there.
Yeah, we like that.
2 perfect shots for Caitlin.
Whoa! It's good. Curl. 10-5. Clean. Clean. We're not big.
Trying to get right to the nose.
Clean.
Paige Papley just cleaning it in.
Yeah.
And there's your single. Oh, a seesaw battle, but 2 great shots by Caitlin Laws to force Alberta.
The 2024 Scotties Tournament of Hearts is presented by Kruger Products, the softest and strongest supporters for over 40 years. By New Holland, proud sponsor of Curling Canada. By Montana's Barbecue and Bar, Canada's home for barbecue. And by PointsBet, the official sports gaming partner of Curling Canada.
Well, Selena Sturmey and her team, their first Scotties, not so for Desiree Haas. She's been here before. Ted Appelman giving some great advice. Let's look at the numbers after 5.
And it was all Alberta early here with Sturmey just really nice on her draws and laws, not quite getting it there in the third with a big steal. But coming back here strong for Team Manitoba with Selena Negevin just really looking to sharpen up for the second half of this game as the momentum seems to be shifting towards Team Manitoba.
These numbers after 5 are brought to you by PointsBet, the official sports gaming partner of Curling Canada.
We know that every moment of this competition is important, from the first rock thrown to the last rock thrown, and to just, we have an expression on our team, be where your feet are, focus on each shot, focus on each end, and that's what it's going to take.
All the best teams in the country are going to be here, and it makes it really hard, but it also makes it so you have to perform your very best all week from start to finish. Then we know we're going to have to be our best.
And that is our game tomorrow. Heather Smith, haven't seen her for a while, representing Nova Scotia, will take on Jennifer Jones with the big news this week that this was her last Scotties as she steps away from team play. That's 3 o'clock Eastern tomorrow, 12 Pacific. And what a field. We've talked about it. This is Pool B, and look at this. So you've got Rachel Holman, the hottest team in the country, Jennifer Jones, who has owned Scotties more often than not, and then that group that Joanne talked about in the middle. Those are all fighting for the spot and all so equal. This is going to be a heck of a week.
And to that point, I mean, these middle teams, like, they can show up and upset Ontario or Manitoba at the top of that pool too. They have it in their toolbox to do that. So it's just going to be so much fun to watch.
Keeping in mind too, Kath, you lose, like, let's take our game. Let's say Caitlin continues on the wrong side of the scoreboard. She loses this game. She's now 1 game behind Sturmey.
Yes, she is.
She hasn't played Team Canada. How do you catch Sturmey? Because if you don't and you end up tied with her, you're going to lose, your position on the draw to the button. So
And just
tiebreakers.
Just a reminder, in this format, you play within your pools, and only the top 3 will advance.
Quite tight.
And if there's a tie, it goes head-to-head. If I beat you in the round robin and we're tied, I get to move forward. There are no tiebreakers as Canada tries to align their system with what is happening at World and Olympic play, where there are no tiebreakers. So it's a tough lesson, but it's our reality in World and international play.
Little early if you can. Wait's close there. Only if you can, that's fine. Line's okay.
You could actually see a 6 and 2 not get through. So it's not only do you have to put some wins together, but you've got to win the right ones.
Tight. And top 12, I lied.
It's good, Des.
Nice. 4-9.
Call here. It's just the guard, but it slips into the rings. You often see a little bit quicker in the 6th end. They do mop the sheet in the 5th end break, so that's a learning point for Team Alberta.
Yep. Hard.
Whoa! 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 Girl!
Back up a little.
That's good. That's fine. Nice.
In a game that has been dominated by Carrie Anderson and her team Canada team, Laurie St. George again facing 2 is being forced.
Top 12. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yep. Whoa. Yep.
Talk about the addition of Jamie Sinclair, former skip from the United States, is her 3rd. And she will stick for the single.
Hard.
She is always very effervescent and loves the game, and is just wondering when this was going to happen.
Hard line. Keep going hard. That's great. Hard. Top 12. You gotta keep going. Just top 12. Just top 12.
No.
Good.
We talk about some of the teams struggling with draw weight. It's sure not Alberta.
No, and on that note, Russ, they've changed gears a little bit. In the
10.5.
earlier in the game, in the 2nd end, they opted, or in the 4th end rather, they opted to play a peel when there were a couple guards out front because they were in the lead. And this time, they decided to keep the pressure on. And I like this call. Nice weight selection here. You can manage it with the brushing. Really want to stick this short run back.
Got to go to do that.
Yep. Whoa, 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 whoa. Roll this one.
Very nice.
In between. 10-7.
We welcome viewers that were watching lacrosse on TSN 3 to the Scotties. We are in the 6th end of a match between Alberta's Selena Sturmey and Manitoba's Caitlin Laws. The edge right now is to the hometown, less experienced Alberta team who has not flinched so far in this game.
Stuck the run back, but just kicked it out in the window there. It's wide open.
You think about mindset for, I mean, there's 18 teams in this event. Everyone's going to have different mindsets going into this thing. And as a team that is making their first Scotties appearance, they obviously mean business. They have high hopes for themselves, but they do have that luxury to not play with expectations. Whereas you look at a team like Caitlin Laws, they're a brand new team. There's so much talent on this team, but you can sense the frustration when things aren't quite going their way. And it's just such a tricky thing to manage mentally when you know you have all the shots, you know you have the 90% game in there, and you're just having a hard time putting it together as a foursome.
Yeah, absolutely well said. I think Sturmey can say, they're walking in here playing with house money, right? If they can keep that attitude. And, you get a win like this, not that they've won yet, they're a long way away, but this would be massive.
And how much do you think that factors, Russ, into maybe that sort of tension that we see, knowing how much you have to win this game with only 3 advancing?
Yeah, huge. It's really a bonspiel within a bonspiel here, because we touched about it earlier. To get that 3rd and coveted final spot, You'd rather have 1 and 2, don't get me wrong, but you have to be careful who you lose to. Not that you have a choice, but they'd be way better, you know, maybe to lose to the lowest seed and win this game.
Yes, because then your head-to-head, it won't matter.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's going to be close here, too. Okay.
You got it.
Selena Negavin's draw just slid a little bit deeper than they wanted it to. It's close to the ballpark, but an opportunity here for Alberta to really narrow down the rings with a freeze.
Really close.
Haven't seen a ton of draws on this side of the sheet yet.
Top 8. Top 8. Top 4.
Yep, pull for weight then.
Top 4. We're there.
Got a curl. Got a curl.
It should.
Whoa, whoa. I didn't touch it, I swear.
Left one, walk it if you can. T-line, same kind of weight.
Same throw. Got her, Selena.
T! I thought more. Back 4. Hold it.
Third rock down this path. Now you expect it to run a little bit quicker. This could be trouble here. It's heavy.
Hard, you got it.
We're just
Straight. Hard.
Trying to bounce it.
Good.
Pretty good.
Good sweep.
Yeah, it's kind of a physics thing, isn't it? You throw down that same path, you got a 40-pound rock riding over those small pebbles. You just wear them down a little bit less friction, especially if you're warming it up with the wonderful brushing we have nowadays.
Yeah, really precise shot there for Selena. You know, a little bit light, and that plays to Alberta, and the force is suddenly on, a little heavy, and you kind of open everything up and create a pocket of death. So that's, she'll be happy with that shooting coming into the second half of this game.
Just full 8. If line's okay, you can bring it to it, but okay.
The problem now for Alberta is they've got to be with one of the best hitters in the world, in Caitlin Laws. This shot's available like that to sit 3 for Caitlin.
That to 15 is
Got to be a little bit careful where they put this. Not that that would be easy, Joe, but if you got that top yellow thin, you could sit 3.
Yeah, and she's made some beautiful precision peel weight hits tonight. You don't want to leave that for her.
there. Don't want to.
Close there. You can wait. Top 8. Top 4.
I'm gonna go in.
Line
good.
Line good. Straight. Top 8. Top 4. Top 4.
Close through line though. We're there. We're to it. We're all the way to it.
Yep.
Bouncing a hair. Whoa, does well.
Really good.
Very good. Nice.
Beautiful speed control.
Throw.
Well, as we enter the second half, we look at what is the story as we look across the sheets. Skylar Ackerman risked very, very big and gave up a 4. And there was no reward for her, and the PEI team is finding draw weight and making the best of it. We've seen on our sheet, the Sturmey team doesn't seem to have any nerves, and Caitlin has made some wonderful shots to save her team. Anderson is rising above all the extra things that are going on their team, and Lori St. George has just struggled with draw weight, not being able to find it. Krista McCarville is not defying the seeding. She is not a 12-seeded team, and Corinne Brown is struggling with where to put the broom, hitting and rolling out end after end after end.
And even if we tap it a hair, then this isn't, then she doesn't have that.
Like even if we tap that and unlock, like even more that way.
Yeah, okay. You good with that?
I think so.
Just have to be careful of leaving that, that's all. Can we call time?
Yeah.
Time?
So this
'Cause, like, she
is
has
the
nothing on
only timeout, and that is new this year at the Scotties. Vic talked about at the top of the show, you are allowed only 1. And so this is obviously what they view as their pivotal moment.
How much air do you have here? Can you go thin on that 5?
We'll take a look at what's happening on with Northern Ontario. Krista McCarville and Corinne Brown. She hit and rolled out on her first. And now chasing a stone, trying to find a way to score 2.
Krista had perfect weight, but didn't quite curl enough, and I think he can dig this out of there.
Oh, I think so.
Always
Oh
curl.
boy.
Always curl. Always curl.
Corinne at 50%. Erin Pincott trying to encourage the stone over, but it will not. It is another steal for Krista McCarville.
One red.
That size says it all.
You're just worried about opening this up.
Yeah, I don't want to open this up and give her this to sit 3 buried.
Right.
We still have 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So, like, I like leaving, she can't guard both of those, right?
Yeah, just make, yeah, I'm okay with your guard call, so just make sure that we don't leave her like the chisel on the 7, right?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
would be guarding
right?
the 7.
Yeah, make sure you guard the 7 and not guard your own shot. And like, you can guard it a good chunk over there, right? To make sure,
Are you
okay?
guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the only other thing we were talking about was coming here, but if we're not, and she can still make that double.
Yeah.
So I think we guard.
Okay.
I'm good with going this way.
Yeah, I think we take plenty of ice
I talked
here.
about this before, kicking that out there. If Caitlin was raising that perfect, you could actually get it onto there and sit 3. I think they're saving that at this point in time. The worry for Team Laws is this rock here, because that can be raised at any point in time. So it's interesting. I thought they might play the run back now, at least even if you hit the top one. They're going to guard that one I circled.
I heard Caitlin say she was worried about opening it up for them.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, for sure.
Pretty crowded in the 4-foot there. Like, they'd love to get 2 here and tie it up after 6.
Well, and if Team Sturmey guards the raise, I'm not sure what Caitlin has. Want 2 here if you're Team Caitlin Laws.
A little bit per line.
Straight guard here on the top 8 rock.
This is good. Top 12. Hold it off if you're heavy.
No, it's tight. It's tight. It's coming off.
Okay. Here's perfect. No. Good touch, guys.
Good. Nice. Good.
I think so.
That or you?
What? Yeah.
That might even just cue
That
it
might
more.
make it easier for her to.
The one I drew, Joanne, is the only real danger, I think, for Sturmey is if Caitlin could somehow make that run.
Yeah, I think that guard is too close to the rings to play something light and come around and tap.
Yeah. We could play this in too.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. That's another option. What do you like, Paige? Our first thought was to just try and get in. Like, she has this for probably.
Yeah, I'm scared if you do this that it makes her double tap easier. Like if you're at.
She's throwing heat at it though all day.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
they
mind
see
then.
it.
Yeah.
If we
You could hit that right hand red one, Joanne,
I
if
think
you
you
wanted.
almost want to play that.
Kind of like change that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Half.
Make the double tap part.
If you're ever
Yeah, that'd be
heavy
pretty
and
low
miss it.
risk, I think, Russ. But you are still leaving the run if you miss it.
Yeah, and you're right. Yeah, exactly. Not a lot of risk. If you ever stick it, well, you might not sit 2, but you're sitting 1 buried, which could put you 3 up.
Oh, we haven't thrown this in a hot minute.
Fighting 8-foot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like this call, Russ?
I think short's fine though. I agree. Heavy's no.
Yes.
That's not convincing.
I didn't like Caitlin's call.
Ah.
I have to bitch about something. So I think, I think Caitlin's kind of locked her chances out of it here. I think I'd play that angle raise. I really do. But Caitlin's such a good hitter. The run back, she gets it perfect. She scores 3. This is not wrong at all.
It's a smart call.
You could even guard it.
Yeah, this is really precise, coming around and trying to block it that way.
Hard! Line only! T-line! Hard! T-line! Hard! Hard to touch it, hard! Hard! Whoa.
Okay. Good weight call.
14.
Yeah.
It works pretty good.
See if there was something for 3.
Okay, good throw.
Yeah, to your point, it was a little more precise than just lobbing a guard out there.
Yeah, I think they were a little afraid that maybe something soft was available to come around everything, but it's a little heavier than they wanted there.
I think, yeah.
I think this will just be for 2, though, Russ, now with that Alberta rock coming to rest on the side of the forefoot.
Absolutely. You get it there, the red's gone, but because that red that was just thrown got deep as it did, I think you're right. When the yellow one comes over, it just sits on the side of that, and it would be for 2, but that's what they wanted at the start of the end, but this is not easy.
Let's rate that out turn right along that center line. We've seen some of these float with just a tiny bit of sweeping.
Oh, look at that.
Wow. What a wonderful shot by Caitlin Laws. We talked so much about no rocks in play early, knew that this team would get it going. They love rocks. Perfect weight. There's your deuce. Well, Russ, we talk about having to make some big shots early, and even though the score is tied, Caitlin made a big shot in the last end. What did she do so right?
Well, we talked earlier, but don't leave her hit because her technique is state of the art. It's one of the best deliveries I've ever seen, but she didn't overthrow it. Normally when you're hitting multiple rocks, people want to whip them. Why do that when you can got directional brushing? No mistake. That was, as Joanne said, that was a really straight spot. She threw it just light enough.
Well, it's a big 2 points. It's all tied up. Hammer does belong to Alberta, Selena Sturmey and her team, but for Caitlin Law has got herself right back in this game.
Yeah, not a bad end from Team Alberta there, but just a little bit of a misstep on Selena Sturmey's last. Just a little bit heavier than they wanted, and just like that, we've got a tie game.
You know, in the previous end, a hit and roll by Caitlin and a double by Caitlin to stop, you know, a potential deuce. You got the deuce in the fourth. Like she's holding them in there really, because I'm impressed with the Team Sturmey's rock positioning.
Patient if you can.
We need more rotes.
It's okay. There. Sorry.
Mine's good. I think it's close. We're top four. Top four. Well, just top eight. Where? Top button. Okay. Curl. 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 Curl, 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 curl. Try and rub this hard. 14-3. 13-7.
Carrie Anderson faced 3 on her first. She made a double, almost a triple. It's the stone that is at the back of the house that didn't quite go out. That allowed the team from Quebec to hit and lie 2. And so this is a force for Carrie Anderson. Could draw, but she's electing to play the hit. Does need to roll a little bit, though, to score. Carrie's numbers the same across the board. Draws and hits at 90%. Has come to play.
Good brushing.
And there's the roll, and there's the point.
Well, a little surprised she wouldn't draw the 8-foot there. I mean,
I'm not.
Oh, well, yeah,
I'm a
true.
Manitoban.
Yeah.
That's her go-to shot, and I think also with the score being what it is, she's 90%, but you know, what's her comfort with draw?
Yeah, roll out there, you only give up 1.
Exactly.
I thought it was a hair big, but maybe not bump.
See, Vic wouldn't say that.
No, not at all.
Barely, like we ticked it. Yeah. I don't think
Is
that was
that a
true.
light?
No, no. Wait, it's fine? Okay. I think she said min ice.
It's good. Curl. Curl. Hard curl.
Yeah, you gotta go.
Hard.
Come on, over towards me. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Wow.
Nice. That's great.
These rocks being reconditioned this year, they talking to the ice makers, Mike Merklinger and crew, they feel they might even be a little bit livelier than ever. Not much, but just enough. And you saw that spin off.
Nice there, Jess.
I didn't throw this very hard by any means, and it just...
Watch the rotation. Greg Owasco phoned me before the game. He's here. He was here for the first couple of days. And he said it had been 10 years since they had done the striking bands. And so they thought they needed to be done, but it's done by a computerized lathe. So once they were in there, they thought they would resurface them as well. So these are, to all intents and purposes, new stones.
Right.
And there he is. We saw him last year at the Scotties. We'd seen him for years before at the Canadian Juniors. Always did a great job. His dad retired. He moved up and took over, and he's done a wonderful job.
It's tougher for the ice makers with this new format because you used to throw the day before, and then you get, you could get the kinks out a little bit. Now you don't see the kinks till just before this game starts.
Yeah, I think for the first couple of days there is a lot of tweaking that goes on. We're expecting really big crowds, and so they have to contend with that. It's a warm building, Joe.
Good ever.
Oh,
You
yeah.
talked about playing in it, and
I've played in here a few times. The first time it was for Continental Cup, building was full. I thought it was because the crowd was here. And then we played in the bubble where there were only cardboard cutouts, and it was still really hot. So it's just, that's how they need to keep the temperature to keep the ice the way they want it.
Go this way if you want.
Yeah, I could go that way.
But lots of tweaks have to happen early.
10 and a half. 10-5. Hey, you got it.
Well, you see that little red stone on the outside. That was an attempted hit by the PEI team that moved it over, but it didn't move it out. And that's why the opportunity here for Skylar Ackerman and her Saskatchewan team for 2 and to get back into this game after giving up a big 4 2 ends ago.
Yeah, that 4-ender, it was basically strategy, in my humble opinion. They were 2 up, and they were starting to freeze around corner guards without hammer, and they didn't quite get the freezes in the right spot. Gave up 4.
Kaylin. Just clean.
Okay, you're good. You're good.
And there is your 2 and a tie.
14-8-15. You got her.
A rollout from Alberta here, so chance here for Selena to sink a draw around the corner.
That's the most underrated miss in curling, isn't it? You know, you half shot, you roll out, and you think, well, I got rid of the opposition's rock, but no. Now Caitlin can separate the rings, and there's an extremely good chance Alberta's going to be forced to a single here.
Yep.
They would have loved to blank this in.
Nice spot. Good. Really good. What was that, Caitlin? 15-1.
Yeah, the only place they didn't want that rock was behind the tee line, because you would have seen Alberta try a freeze. So
Do you want to throw like bump? You can.
Selena's really dialing in to draw weight here in the second half of this game, Russ. She made 2 nice freezes
Very
last
true.
end.
11.5. Okay, you got it.
Well, a chance for Corinne Brown, maybe for 3, trying to play off the red stone that's just under the Purex, come across onto her own to remove the 1 stone that belongs to Krista McCarville in the house. There is 3 points available if she's able to hit it right.
We haven't been covering the sheet, but that's not a pile of ice. On our sheet, that would you'd have to whip it to keep that out there.
10-7. Close. Yeah. 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 Woo. 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 Yeah. Woo. Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
Good.
Nicely done. That 3 will clock her way to halfway back. Still some work to do.
It's like a rock deep where it's probably these tucked.
You like just like
Even.
because I don't want them to be able to, if we go
Yes,
here.
yeah, I'd like to
okay.
be even
Okay,
with that.
okay, perfect.
I think that's close.
You got it.
You can be pretty precise with this draw, Russ. Anything kind of top 12, you might see Alberta try to come around and use it as a guard and make them deep. Obviously, there's the freeze available.
Depth.
Okay. Top 8.
Kind of even with ours.
Yep.
Okay. This is like a broom head less than Selena's.
Okay.
Seems really nice. A couple feet better than draw the button.
Pardon?
A couple feet better than draw the button.
Yeah.
Similar.
You could give us similar to you gave us here.
Okay.
You got her, Caitlin.
That's a standard message too, Kathy. We're to the corners in arena settings. I know it's draw 1. It's a little bit early, it's only the 7th end, but it's almost always quicker to the corners.
And I guess that's something else, Joe. You know, it's the first game that these teams have played and seen 7 ends on. At what point did you start really watching to see if it was flattening out, if it was doing something different? What was your learning curve?
Always starting to look in the 7th end. The 6th end is usually okay because they mop in that 5th end break, but once you start to see the 7th end, you really start to pay attention. You may not see it, but you just want to be making sure you're watching.
I was seeing like here if we
I
can
think
get
you've got to
it.
go around this, Joanne.
I think I'd rather
There's
be
no
a piece
double.
open in there than
You're never blanking.
deep.
You might as well, if you're going to get forced, you might as well force yourself to 2.
That
Probably there.
Yeah, and pretty low risk too because you've got the whole 4 foot's open right now. The way it curls at the end, they could probably get almost fully buried and stay right on the tee line.
I think I'd rather be like top 4 in a piece open than back and buried. Like mid 4, high 4.
Hair big.
Early page. Early page.
We gotta go for speed.
Yeah.
Line's a little
Running
tight.
okay. Gotta go.
Early sweep,
Little
we've seen
late.
them take off when they're tight early.
Hard line.
They really go to get this by.
Yeah, keep going. Okay.
Yikes.
15-7. Okay.
I have to wonder if maybe it's tightening up a little bit. The sweepers weren't panicked out of the hand. They didn't yell that it was a guard.
And it was down the middle, right?
I think Selena called them on. She may not have finished her release. So sometimes when you kind of just open your hand and you don't extend through, it can really kill the life of a rock.
I thought I would have been top 12.
And we welcome those viewers from TSN 5 that have joined us here in Calgary at Winsport. It is the Scotties Tournament of Hearts. And we are showing the Alberta-Manitoba Laws game, and it has gone from very few rocks to a whole bunch, which has been really exciting.
You got her, Caitlin.
Kind of like to see this partly open instead of just dead bury, and then Sturmey's going to say, "I'll draw the 4-foot." Make her think a little bit, and it kind of might make Team Alberta go out wider.
It's coming off. Yeah. Still back 4. You got Joss, come on. It's back 8.
Jocelyn's actually trying to slow it down, believe it or not, with that scratching motion. Unforced error.
Similar path that I've been throwing all game.
That was the key we talked about, wasn't it, at the start of the game, was to try to get Caitlin to draw. She's demonstrated how good a hitter she is.
Straight in that spot.
But, let them off the hook.
You see that sometimes when someone's struggling. She just had to throw like the same or 2-3 feet more than her first, but you just make these bigger adjustments when you're not quite feeling it. Still a shot against 3 here, though, for Selena Sturmey.
These are the ones you can miss, too. You can see her top rock 4 feet short. It curled, and if it's slowing down, you just know she's going to add quite a bit more weight here in a little quicker spot.
Line's good. Line.
Well, Selena started the game at 100%. She had the feel, and those numbers have gone down a little bit. Looking for 8-foot against 3 Manitoba Law team counters. Cleaning it in. Nicely done. And a good force by Caitlin Law, but a nice rebound by Alberta. Welcome back to Calgary. It is the opening draw of the first day of the Scotties Tournament of Hearts, an event that women who curl just want to be at. And we are. And it is a great game. It was tied up, and Selena Sturmey forced to make a very good draw last end, and she did, made no mistake.
Yeah, you look at that draw, Kathy, and all she needed was to bite the 8-foot against, but it's against 3, and she put that rock right on the tee line. So that's got to feel really good moving into these last 3 ends of the game here. We have a good reference draw now. She can say, is it the same as what I threw in the 8th end? And that does great things for confidence.
Hard. Great spot. Good sweep. 14-8. 14-8? Good sweep. Nothing.
Well, not much to choose between the leads. Paige Papley and Kristen McCush very close to each other. Neither of them would be very happy with those numbers. They're both far better players. It's just been first day, trying to figure things out.
Often see the leads end up with the mismatched rocks as well. So sometimes it takes a few ends to wrestle them down. If you've got a rock that's a little bit slow, how much slower is it? You need to throw an extra 6 feet or 10 feet. If you have a miss in there that was thrower error, it can just throw everything off. Teams will watch the orders that all of the other teams are throwing their rocks in all week, so they'll have starting points as the week progresses to do a lot of their own homework today.
Just about perfect.
Saskatchewan's Skylar Ackerman tying it up last end with PEI. It is Team Canada rolling along against Quebec's Laurie St. George 8-1. And it is Nova Scotia, Krista McCarville. We saw Corinne Brown get that 3 points to get back into the game a little bit, but still an 8-4 lead for the team from Northern Ontario.
So close to connecting on that run back. Just missed the rocks in the rings. I can't believe, Russ, that rock that's just in the back of the tee line is buried around a rock top 8 foot. Right. That is crazy finish.
It curled more than a foot in a span of just more than 2 feet.
That might be curling more than it was earlier in the game, though.
Very true.
6th then, they were playing those freezes and they weren't quite getting there.
I don't really see it slowing down much either. Great surface.
Hey, let's close. Just half. Might need to finish a hair. Halfway.
These are the ones that can really kill you, though. This isn't very heavy. I'm not sure they can get this far enough to get enough curl. That would give Laws a double opportunity.
Keep going hard.
Danielle Schmiemann swung around the rock, so both sweepers are trying to make the rock curl, and just straight light. If that rock's a little bit heavier, that gets to the spot they want it in.
You see so many games flipped on a shot like that. Sturmey's team's made a couple of beautiful rock positions that come around to the button you talked about. If this double's made, all of a sudden it's 2 yellow as opposed to 2 buried red.
Well, the battle at second is being won by Desiree Hawes. We talked about her being the only one on this Alberta team with Scotties experience. Jocelyn, of course, has plenty of years, but it is an edge, a plus, as we would say right now for Desiree, when you outscore your opponent by 5% or more. It's when you start to see the difference in the house. And so she is giving Team Alberta that slight edge at that position.
High side double here.
Hard on that one.
Look at the weight.
Go. Hard. Right out.
Really soft speed control in that double.
It's a spot inside the 4-foot lines. You wonder how straight is this going to run. It's that light weight. Any overthrow is going to run super straight. They're really well executed by Jocelyn. And to your point, Kathy, that just speaks to experience. You're not having the best game, but Jocelyn, I think, is really good at parking those and not bringing the misses into the next end.
Normal. Whoa. Yep. Yes, normal. Coming off. Hard. Coming off 10. Hard, you gotta go. Hard. Okay. 10 feet. Okay.
Caitlin would love to roll away a little bit here. A nose hit will set up a potential double. If the double's made, then Team Sturmey would have one buried. Roll a foot to the right, maybe, Joanne?
Yeah, and a perfect throw. Don't want to be too cute with it, so they're not going to throw it very hard.
Good sweep.
This time, right? Yeah.
Just might have been a bit of an underthrow there.
Yeah.
The call was hard early, so maybe a little bit tight.
Okay. I like this.
No.
Good news for Manitoba, though, is they're dead buried around that corner. And the center guard is so high.
And you can't draw around the corner because of the red guard, so all you can do is come around the red guard, but the red guard's so long. Caitlin can chase at this thing where no matter where you put it.
I'm just scared if we chase. Do you think I can get? Do you think I can get the yellow or no? It's dead buried, but it's probably close.
You can. You just leave. If you like it, I like it. I think this also plays for a force.
We probably have to be shot though, don't we? She's not chasing it if we're not shot.
Yeah, it's whatever you like.
I guess try and show her on this side if anything. Okay. Yeah.
If you like that the way I like it. You ever like the run?
Yeah, we could run it too, I guess.
I don't hate it.
Yeah?
Okay.
Okay. I don't know. I just don't know what the draw she's always going to be able to get at.
I feel like the guard's too high to get anything behind it.
The only thing about the come around is if you're just shot, just
top eight,
biting the 8 foot, it's a really far ways you have to push that rock to kill it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're dead buried around the really high guard, it's not an easy shot for Team Manitoba.
No.
This is tricky.
And if you miss
It's a
this,
long run back here.
then Manitoba does have an easy shot.
Heel. Yep.
Yep, hard.
Whoa.
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 Yep. Yes.
Hard.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's open. Just gonna move this.
It's better than it was, for sure. Those are so tough, you know, half an inch one way or the other, you're good. Kicked it out in the open, though.
Yeah.
14-8 side. You got her.
We saw a bit of struggles with this wing shot last end, so we'll see if Team Manitoba went to school here.
Well, a huge edge for Danielle Schmiemann from Alberta. She was frustrated with the last shot, but overall, her numbers have been very strong. Selena, we talked about 25% after the first 4 in draw weight. She's up to 64% in her draws. So if you do the math, that means she's making a lot more shots. So the momentum is right, but the battle is very easily won by Danielle Schmiemann at the 3rd position right now.
Nice. Sorry.
Good. 4-6.
Good go.
4-6.
Here, as long as you can get enough
I'd say
passing, it curls it.
could take a crack at it too.
I just,
It's pretty natural,
Yeah.
honestly.
I think I'm
But
still
then you're
seeing,
probably throwing weight.
I can throw a 9 at it, but
Now we talk about momentum in sport, and we certainly have seen that in this game. Northern Ontario and Corinne Brown scoring 3 last end. It has been all Brown this end. On her final stone, she hit and rolled underneath. That forced Krista to find a piece of the hearts against 3. They're buried stones, and so she's playing the draw.
Yikes.
Line's good.
Line's an issue here, too, because you get out in the good stuff, it'll glide forever.
Kendra. It's got to be Kendra.
Northern Ontario has a 5-person rotation at the front end, and so tonight it is Ashley Sipla,
Yep.
Sarah Potts.
Back 4's okay though.
Great judge on weight, just didn't get the curl. Steal of 1 BC.
Great shot, just the same, though. 8-7 if you don't make that.
Look at you doing the math.
Yeah.
So proud. See his fingers out.
What are the calculators for?
A really nice shot on our sheet by Selena Sturmey. She was going after the double, but she'll be pretty happy to roll her shooter over. Get these stones grouped. She'd spoken about just doing the short little flop behind that long guard, but opted instead to just go for the roll.
Very nice.
Very nice. I'm not seeing any nerves, Russ.
Not at all. Not at all.
If it does come to nose, that we kill theirs.
No, really, really nice performance here. You know, if it wasn't for Caitlin making some incredibly precise hits, this game's not close.
Well, there have been some wonderful shots by the Saskatchewan team in this end, been buried behind stones. It has been PEI trying to run stones back and not making contact. On her first, Veronica removed one of the Saskatchewan stones, and it was partially available. And so Skylar tapped it back. That is why she currently lies 4. A nose hit may be enough, but an inside roll would ensure the point. Veronica's 97% on hits right now. And will it sit? I don't believe it did in time.
Didn't get on it quick enough.
Looks like 2.
Yep.
This one is 1 for sure. Can I look at it? Yeah. I think you're right, but
Definitely a little more curl than Team PI would be used to, and they just didn't
I think
anticipate
it's
that
2.
quick enough. Boy, that could be a
I'm
big
saying
steal.
2. Yeah, this one. Can I just move this one? Yeah, 1 for sure. Yeah. Okay.
And we will confirm once they decide if they're going to measure or concede the 2. And they have conceded the 2, and so that is a 2-point edge, an 8-6 lead for Saskatchewan after 8.
I did. Okay. Tight, but there's just more weight than I was. 9 doesn't curl, but 9.5 does curl. Yeah. Like
Well, there's a 10% difference, and we have seen Caitlin Laws make big shot after big shot. Selena Sturmey is playing very well at 70%, no question about it, especially in her first Scotties, but it has been Caitlin saving the team a number of ends. These player comparisons are brought to you by New Holland, proud sponsor of Curling Canada.
Great shot on her first one. Dang. Great line roll on her first one.
You don't see that very often.
No, and that is a mistake. You just hate taking one when you have to, but by sticking the blank, Caitlin has tied it one more time, but really wanted the hammer. Welcome back to Winsport Event Center. This is day one, draw one of the Scotties Tournament of Heart. 18 teams here this week into 2 pools of 9. They will play a round robin, and then the top 3 in each pool will advance. And so every win is critical. And so when you give up a single point by beaking a blank, sometimes that really hurts, especially in the 8th end, which is so important to be able to score multiple points or keep hammer. And so advantage now, even though it is tied, is to Alberta.
Top 4. To it. Yep. Hard line. To it. Hard. Hard, Des. Hard. 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 To it.
It's a good throw. Top page.
Yeah.
Really nice touch there. Doesn't seem like the ice is changing much. Some well-placed draws to start this end.
I'm thinking I could give you a 14-8. Love to not bounce. Do you like that? Yes.
There's so much curl hog line in, you get it in your head, it is flattening out, but I don't think I think you're right. It looks like it's very close to the same speed as it was earlier.
Yeah, you start to expect to see rocks come up just lighter than expected, more and more sweeping, and we're not seeing that quite yet here.
Top 4. Line's great. Top 8. Yep.
Just so much late movement in the spot.
Keep it sliding. Keep it sliding. It's just top 12. Yep. Then curl, 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 curl.
Trying to hook it a little bit here. Caitlin's going to try to do anything but give up a blank here.
Got it.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yep, yep, hard.
Hard.
Alberta will try to hit their way out of this here.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's fine. Really good.
Real good.
I'd say that's better than fine.
Yes, that's
Phenomenal shot.
no kidding.
Shooter rolls off the center line. 2 Alberta rocks in the 4-foot.
Be an interesting call here, Joanne. It's you start hitting it, could be a blank end. But there's such dangerous rocks.
Yeah, it seems a little early though. Would you ever be tempted just to maybe freeze in that pocket? Russ?
Absolutely. You have to force here.
10-5. Yep, 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 yep. Hard. 10-5.
Again, I think Caitlin leans towards the defensive call more often than a lot of the teams. I'm not suggesting it's wrong when you hit like she does. You can't blame her.
Just funny to see it with Caitlin when she played so many years with Jennifer Jones, because we just got so used to Jennifer Jones is
Rocks
one of the
everywhere.
most aggressive players out there, and you assume that would be a similar game plan for Caitlin.
Absolutely.
And we have our first final tonight. Lodi St. George scoring 1, conceding the game, that final 8-2. And this is not only a victory on the board for Team Einarson, this is a moral victory and a strength victory for a team who earlier today found out that Brianne Harris is ineligible to play. They will walk away feeling very proud.
Sit 2 here.
Really nice.
Well, there's Coach Reed Carruthers, and he comes in here with so much expertise. We always talk about Reed being a teacher and how great he is, but this is a whole different dynamic when you come to a Scotties and your whole world and your game plan for what you're going to do changes with the absence of a very key part of the team. And so his work is definitely cut out for him this week.
Because Caitlin decided to go to the defense, hit early, something that Jennifer would have never done in that situation with the score the way it is. This is starting to look like a blank. They do have that one guard they can hide around if there's a rollout here, so it's very imperative to hang around.
And so many teams, Russ, would play so hard to prevent at all costs.
Yeah, it's interesting, very interesting strategy.
Yeah, and you know, to play devil's advocate here, though, some teams play so hard not to give up that blank, they end up giving up 2.
Yep.
And giving up that 2 you pretty much lost the game because you have to score 3 to win in that 10th, or maybe you tie it in the 10th, but you lose in the extra. So Caitlin might be doing the math in her own head for what works for her team or how she's feeling tonight. Analytics will say one thing, but
Right, and maybe they stole a lot of points this year.
and we've got the no-tick rule and a good setup, and who knows?
She did say before the game that one of the things that they didn't write off last year, but they just accepted that it was going to be a different year with so many different women playing with them. But she did say that one of the things that they've learned this year is what works for them and what doesn't. And to your point, Joe, maybe one of the things that they decided doesn't work for them is forcing their opponent so hard, and maybe they're comfortable in trying to steal in 10.
Yeah, they could even have gone around the corner guard there, left Sturmey shot rock and let them chase it, and that gets the force. Then you try to make a double somewhere.
Yeah, they really don't have enough games together yet to truly know their identity at this point. So it's all about learning for them, and they're playing the long game here. When you start a family and you're still playing at the highest level, you have to appreciate that it's not just going to be winning all the time.
Not anymore. Exactly the same.
You'd have to think Team Alberta's quite happy with the way this ends unfolding, though.
Absolutely. She's very patient. I'm talking about Selena. She's very mature for her age and also in terms of experience, not at the Scotties, but at the junior level and the under 21 level. And so I think that adds a lot. She's just very calm out there, and that's what you love to see as a skip.
I think there's more and more of that coming through the ranks, isn't there? Like back in my day when you were the rookie, it took you 6 games before you could breathe.
Yeah.
Now these teams are so much better coached. They're watching much more on television. The ice is great. They've got great ice at their own club to train at.
There's so many more things to play in. There's a U18, there's a U21, there's a CIS. There's so many ways that you can get experience without being at a Scotties or a Brier. So these teams are coming in as rookies, but so much better equipped to deal with everything that comes with this kind of event.
Caitlin wanted to roll the other way, then a nose hit from Alberta. Caitlin could then hit and roll behind the corner. A nose hit here, that's going to be a tough shot to hit and roll behind that corner on Caitlin's last one. Just do not roll out here.
9-5 nose?
I think so.
Interesting choice of turn. They're choosing to throw the in turn here inside out as opposed to outside in. Nothing wrong with the choice of turn. I think they've seen this line before with that in turn, but you typically see teams play the outside in as it just runs a little bit more consistent, a little straighter, a little truer.
Another Jennifer Jones trait that maybe Caitlin's picked up on. All the teams are starting to do a little more of that. But you're right. I think it's easier hit and stay for outside in.
Well, the situation, this is Northern Ontario. Krista McCarville's last stone. She can see probably a third from the hack of the shot stone. So if she picks it out, it's the single.
Don't pick out your own. Steal it too.
Nicely done.
One red.
That team is for real.
They always are, and that's why 6th in the pool, 12th overall.
Yeah.
It just does not compute for Krista McCarville. And again, the points are determined based on when you travel and the events that you compete in. And because they don't travel and compete that very much, they don't have a lot of points. But every team in this event knows that Krista McCarville is far better than her seeding. And that is enough. So a 9-5 final, and then a good start for Krista McCarville. And for Team BC Brown, just a very slow start and then tried to get back in, and it was just too late.
Another one they tried to carve and overcarved it. And number 1, they didn't successfully make the blank. And
I thought we were
I
flashing.
know as a skip, the last thing you want to do is breeze right by on this thing, so you tend to keep it on the tight side.
Do anything? I thought we were just going to be taking.
Final stone in this 9th end. And Selena Sturmey successfully removes the stone and will take that all-important last rock advantage when we come back for the 10th end. Well, welcome back. We knew that this game was going to be a very good one, and there's a huge difference when you look at experience with the Manitoba team versus the Alberta team, but it has been the Alberta's team consistency all along, and a mistake by Caitlin Laws in sticking on a blank gives us a situation of a tie game coming home. She started with last rock, and she's ending this game with last rock. We'll see if Alberta can actually use it, though.
We see the no-tick rule being used to its fullness. It's we got two center line guards here. They're a little bit closer than they would have wanted for Manitoba Laws, but cannot be moved.
As far as it goes, go Des, hard.
Paige Papley came up probably a little bit deeper than the team wanted on her first, splitting that T line. That's not ideal for Alberta. You just have to move it a tiny bit to be shot.
First one here.
Yeah, nice opportunity here for Laws. You could ever glue this on the corner or bump it a foot. Don't have to do it yet.
Yeah, you got it.
we've seen the no-tick rule has really changed the way this 10th end develops in this, specifically in the tied scenario. But I chatted with Renee Sonnenberg from Curling Canada. She does all the analytics, and I said, have we seen a change in the win percentage? Or are we seeing more steals for the win? And she says, not really.
No. Yeah.
Women's game, it's a 72% win probability when you have that hammer tied up in the 10th end.
Right.
Hasn't changed a lot, but we get there differently now. It's more exciting than when we had ticks.
And the ticks put a lot of pressure on the lead, but so does those 2 red come-arounds, because like we talked about, that first one was a little deep. That could come back to cost Alberta.
Well, and second one a little bit light, too. Big missed opportunity, though, here from Jocelyn Peterman. A little bit heavy on that freeze attempt. The line was absolutely perfect, but much more weight than they wanted to in this spot.
And trying to steal, you cannot be deep. You miss that light, it's a piece of shrapnel that can come in handy.
Great
very nice.
There was the weight selection there too, Russ. Didn't whip it by any means. But
that's
it's
unusual.
So important to connect there.
Yeah.
A really nice shot by Desiree Haas.
Do not lift for longer than.
Yeah, that's not much more than normal, is it?
No, but that's that out turn just on the line. Throw it really hard. It can float if there's any kind of outward motion at release. Shooter didn't roll very far, though, is the issue with not throwing it very hard.
Kind of chokes off the out turn path, doesn't it?
We're a little deeper. Right to your feet. Coming down. Got a curl then. A little more, a little more. It's good. It's good.
You want the same turn? Okay. Yeah. All right, you got it. You got this. Just easy peel. Yep. Hard. Clean.
And the only other game still on the ice, this is the 9th end. The yellow stone that you see that is second shot, that was frozen in by PEI on the first, and then Skylar Ackerman tried to get right on top of it. She is shot stone, but if she could, Veronica can get just to the inside, the opportunity for 2 and the tie is there.
All the way.
Sabrina Smith, Whitney Jenkins.
Oh.
And there is your 2 and a tie game. So both teams, both sheets left, are tied going home.
Skipper's deuce there, 2 beauties.
Almost high-five that girl. 2 yellow. Nice shot.
Sorry, that was my bad. I almost lost that on. Okay, buddy. You got it. Pretty cruising. Yeah. You got her.
Not a lot of room on the out turn to go back there for Laws and tap that back a little bit, is there?
No, it's...
And the in turn, it's overburied. It'd be tricky to get at that shot Alberta stone.
Yeah, Laws needs the out turn side to get there, but it's not going to be there with where that shooter stayed for Team Alberta.
Whoop. No, there's more room.
Think we can get there this way?
Yeah, and he couldn't before. Those are those little things. They thought peel. You could have peeled it with the other turn, and that would never happen. Now that corner guard's just kicked over about a foot farther, and now there's a bit of an avenue here for Team Laws to stick one on the corner of that rock on the button. Maybe even bump it a hair.
A little late. Close. Yeah. Top 8. Yep, then. Hard line. Hard. Hard. Top 4. Hard. No, just top 12, top 8. All you got. Hard. Hard. Get by this one. Hard, hard, hard. Go, go, go. Good try. Good sweep. Okay.
If Team Laws doesn't go on to win this game, it's been the draw weight. It's the precision. And they're not horribly off, but the precision just has not been there.
Yeah, and just from first impression of the ice, it looks like it's just very weight sensitive. If you're a little bit light and just outside of the realm, it's going to curl way too much. A little bit heavy, it runs really straight. That's a wonderful surface for these curlers. That's what you want, is that weight sensitive.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
Like half
Or less? I think, yeah, anything less than half is good.
Really, really good opportunity. Now you hit half, 3/4 this top red. Your shooter goes, the red goes, and the yellow Laws Rock goes. That leaves Alberta wide open on the button.
Alrighty, half. About half, yeah. Alright. Maybe a little thinner and be okay.
Yeah, this spot, oh, sorry, should curl a hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit more curl than the outturns.
You guys.
Kill. Yep.
Yep.
Whoa.
Hard.
Yep.
Yep, hard.
Yes.
Hard, that's
Hard.
Danielle Schmiemann having the edge in the third position tonight, has made a lot of shots and very successfully opens up that entire front.
Good ball swing. Very nice. Good goal, good goal.
Do you ever throw a guard? Because then, like, she has the chance to blast everything now.
Yeah.
We guard, she peels, and then we hopefully can make.
And if she decides to come around, then I.
True. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. No, I'm.
Yeah. If she comes around, we're dead.
She probably won't, but then we would have to play the tap.
Yeah.
Just ask her what she wants to do. She's right
We have
there.
lots of time.
It is a bit of a predicament, isn't it? You could freeze, they blast it, you go around the corner, you sit two, and leaves Sturmey a draw to the full 8-foot type thing. Or do you
Blast and we go here.
Yeah.
freeze in your last one, or tap in your last one, I should say.
Yeah, if anything, like if we're.
I guess it's just whether we want her drawn on her last one or hitting. So if we guard and then play it on the last, she's got a blast on her last one.
And it has to stick a shooter.
Has to stick a shooter, yeah.
Take the chance that she doesn't come around it. And if she does, hope we have a run double. Make it tight so we can run it if we have to.
Yeah. Like I don't think. Like I think like this tight, probably, so that we can come around to move this.
Right.
Like just like here.
Like that better than her missing the 8-foot.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Got it, Caitlin?
The problem
Yeah,
for
like this,
Team
there's a ring
Laws is
right
at some
here.
point they've got to move that or they lose. So there's not too many options left. So they're going to be that type of situations, the best thing possibly do. And then half rock chip out of there wins the game for Sturmey. So when do you do that? Do you throw a guard here? Sturmey might. I don't think so, but she might just draw around, Joe.
I don't see that. I think they're peeling all day.
Yeah, but they could. And if they make it good, then Caitlin probably doesn't have a chance of getting in there. You could tap it now, hope they peel it clean, and then freeze to it.
Scotties head-to-head is the times Manitoba has played Alberta.
Nice and tight.
Not a big difference.
No.
It's close.
Make sure you're to my room. Line's good.
Yep. Just you. Yep.
Oh, no curl, no curl, no curl. Good. Good.
Good spot. Nice.
Ooh, sorry.
Good throw. Good throw.
Two choices, come around. Where would you go? Top 8, top 4, or tight,
Probably. Yeah.
or the peel?
May as well just talk about it.
Her, yeah.
Okay, make a good one. I just thought we'll call a timeout for funsies. Talk to Ted.
Sounds so relaxed. Have some funsies out there.
I think too, because this is like splitting tee, that we have a harder shot if she makes it perfect.
Yeah.
Ted Appelman, the coach.
Well, you're the one throwing it, so we got two options. We peel, they have to hit, right? So peel that, they hit, you're going to throw the same hit.
I think my gut was telling me the draw. Like, I don't know if she can get there without. It's tight.
Yeah, thing is, you draw,
probably has to play the run.
As long as you're touching center, you're pretty good. She's gonna have to play that run double.
Yeah.
So where would we put it if we draw?
Probably dead frozen.
I don't think we'd want to do that because
No.
then if she makes it and sticks it, she's tighter.
Okay.
So I think if we're drawing just touching 8 foot around on center. Then if she plays this double run, it's in the 12 foot. So there's that. Or again, we could peel, and then you have a hit.
You get two.
The safest is the peel.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a shot to win the game for sure, right? Throw the draw now, and put it away. Make her make a real tough one.
I think I like the draw.
Okay, then let's play the draw.
Okay.
What's
Just
this?
like
Talk
half
about
8
the
foot?
speed and where we want it.
Right there.
Ted's dead on. By
Yeah, I think
keeping
that's the spot. We don't
separation,
wanna
I
go any
tried to
deeper.
draw it there with two reds. If Caitlin makes the raise red double, her rock so high in the rings, it's a pretty simple draw to win the game.
I used to call this the practice draw. So she puts this in a good spot. If that run double is made, that'd be an incredible shot, but she just threw a draw. So she'll know exactly how to make that shot for the win.
Right.
And if she puts this one in a good spot, leaves a tough shot for the opposition.
Very.
May not have to throw her last.
Very exactly.
But if
Yeah,
you're
there's
ever
risk.
heavy here and you make a pocket, that could be game over.
Yep, no question. I thought one thing Ted said I wasn't sure about is
Yeah, I think they can
if
curve
you
it in there.
peel,
If I throw it, Josh.
if you peel it off, then they're going to hit it. Caitlin's not going to hit it. She's going to tap that back a foot.
Jumping. Yeah. When we hit it.
Yeah, pick your poisoner. Both good calls.
Well, I think it was very clear that Selena wanted to play the draw. She wanted to play the draw before the timeout. She wanted to play the draw during the timeout, and she's throwing the draw after the timeout.
Well, she's made a lot of draws.
Yes, she has.
Close. Top four. Line. Line only. To it. Line's good. Don't want to. To it right now.
You'd like
Right
to
if
keep
you're
some
to it.
separation
Yep.
here.
Right
They
if
don't
you're
have
to
to
it.
brush
Yep.
this.
Yep. 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 Yep.
If that's what Ted did not want, if the rock was top 8, this run back double's made, there's a full 8 foot to draw to. If this is somehow made, now I'm not sure whether you can stay buried, but if this is made perfectly, you got to draw the pin.
Let's take a look at the game story. It was a wonderful shot by Caitlin that tied it up in the 6th end, and then Sturmey blanks and had the opportunity. It wasn't pushed hard to blank, but she did blank and has the last rock coming home. The numbers, well, Danielle Schmiemann, we looked after 8 and she was leading and she still is. This game story is brought to you by Montana's Barbecue and Bar, Canada's home for barbecue.
Don't think Caitlin can make the double and stay underneath cover. So this has to kick open, doesn't it?
Girl. Girl.
Yikes.
And so with that, 2 only needed 1 to win, but make the final a 7-5. And a Scotties rookie no more, and opens with a huge win over a very strong Manitoba Caitlin Laws. That will give you confidence and make the local fans happy. Lots of happy Alberta fans. And a very happy Skip. Confident coming in, confident going out. And the one game that we still have in play, this is the the Saskatchewan PEI matchup. It has been a series of appeals by Saskatchewan trying to make sure they have access to the 4-foot. Skylar Ackerman just removed one of the PEI stones that was in the 4-foot. So now the discussion by PEI is, where do we put our second one? There are guards, but they're corner guards, and so there's no center guard to get behind. There's a great look at it.
Just touching pin. Yep. You got it.
Team PI was
Top
thinking
four.
about a second time out, and
And they said, you don't have a
the
second one.
umpire politely said, maybe not.
It is a big change. I think most provincial championships still use the 2.
Touching the top of the pin.
And it is an adjustment to get used to 1.
like center line with like a 10.
What are they trying here? Are they...
I think what she called is she wants to bite the top of the button. So for Skylar, in order to win, she'll have to make the double because hitting, she'll be line 2 and hitting either one doesn't give you shot. So a very precise draw.
PAI's guard, you can see it out there just over the hog line. It didn't guard the last one, and Skylar had to throw a bullet to rearrange the furniture just to get it as good a situation as it was. If the guard was made, Saskatchewan was in big trouble.
This is the 4th rock thrower, Veronica Main.
Veronica made 2 beauties last end.
It's Sabrina. Sabrina all day.
Top and pin, line perfect.
Sabrina
Top
Smith,
pin.
Whitney Jenkins on the brush.
Hard, Whitney. Hard, Whitney. Hard. Hard.
Okay, whoa,
That seemed to
whoa.
just jump over and halt.
And die fast.
What was that?
And this is something we will watch all week. She is on the outside sheet. There's a lot of crowd.
15 though.
Other teams are leaving, and so you don't have the air circulation.
Just 10. Yeah.
They were in no hurry to brush that, were they?
They weren't.
I had a 14-9 on that. In
Which
our
should have
game.
been plenty.
T-line was 14 on the last rock. That should have been enough, or at least good enough to get to the rings.
So now an open hit in a game that has been a bit of a seesaw. As you look at the board, there's been some 2s, there's been some steals, there's been a 4 given, but an opportunity to win.
Here we go.
She's thrown a lot of hits tonight, 16. And it is her strength.
That's clean. 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 Atta girl.
Hit made, put 3 more on the board. It is a win for one of the teams was going to be a rookie no more. They both are, but the win goes to Saskatchewan. And the youngest team ever to come out of Saskatchewan at 22 years of age, Skylar Ackerman, is likely the future of curling in Saskatchewan, and what a nice way to start. Yeah, there's a fan.
The 2024 Scotties Tournament of Hearts is presented by Scotties Facial Tissue. Unleash the Scotties. By Montana's Barbecue and Bar, Canada's home for barbecue. By BKT Tires, growing together. And by Home Hardware. Here's how.